The Denver Zoo's African penguins have a brand new home. Pinnacol African Penguin Point opened up in September, replacing the old exhibit at Bird World. So that new exhibit came to life thanks to Vertex Builders, and Ted Laszlo is the vice president of the company. And Ted, first of all, how do you even begin to design a habitat for penguins, and what's kind of the research into that?
Funny enough, that was one of the first questions we asked ourselves. How do you even begin to reimagine a penguin exhibit? Luckily, we had input from a fantastic team. And I guess the first thing I want to say is that all of the people at the Denver Zoo have been so tremendously helpful and great to work with. But we had a couple of excellent design partners. So Perry Becker and David Harrison out of Orlando really helped us understand and imagine what a penguin exhibit could be. And then locally here in Denver, Barker Rinker Seacat architects are sort of known as pool and rec center experts throughout the nation. And so we were able to draw on their experience as well.
That's great. I know our photographer who was out there for the grand opening just said it was so neat. What are some of the features of this new habitat, and how are they an improvement over the old space?
So, I think one of the first things that the guests will notice is the split level viewing. So there's almost 40 feet of clear acrylic that provides both under and above water viewing of the penguins. And so that's a unique feature that was not at the Denver Zoo before. And then if you really pay attention, and sometimes you may not notice it, but we have a little wave ball feature that is hidden off to the side of the exhibit. And that helps keep the water in motion and make it a little more attractive for the penguins to jump in, and gives the guests something to do as well.
Awesome. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. That's pretty neat. I'm curious, have you learned a lot about penguins by being a part of this?
What have I ever? And first and foremost, I've learned that these are not cold weather penguins. You jump into a penguin design, you're like, okay, where's the ice coming from? But these are African penguins, so they're warm weather penguins. And we learned a lot about their behavior, about their social nature, about how they, if you're at the exhibit, you'll notice they like to walk around in a group. They're very social and they like to keep an eye on each other. But they're also really, susceptible to feet issues, to very cold weather, very hot weather. So there's a lot that went into providing them adequate shade, providing, there's actually heated rock work to keep it warm in the wintertime. And then we've got different surfaces. If you really pay attention in the exhibit, you'll notice a lot of different types of surfaces, and that helps keep their feet healthy.
That's so neat. A lot of things people don't know looking at it, but now they can keep that in mind when they do see it, which is really cool. What's your favorite thing about the new habitat that you guys created?
My favorite thing is really just walking by the exhibit. On Wednesday, I was out there and just walking by, and there were kids pressed up against the glass looking at the penguins, and a little boy, must have been 2 years old, said, "Oh, I wish I could just go in there and give him a hug." And it's things like that that just sort of make your day better when you get to hear and experience that, and knowing that you had just the tiniest bit of help bringing that to life and making those kids' life better. It's pretty fantastic.
Well, that's really neat. I know when we saw the video of the grand opening for it, it was just so cute to see all those penguins. It did put a smile on everyone's face. It's great.
Yeah.
So Vertex Builders has also done work for the Museum of Nature and Science. What's your favorite thing about designing museums? Kind of switching it up here.
The great thing about exhibit work, and just, to be clear, we have design partners and we do a lot of the building. But you just get this blank canvas and you're like, what can you imagine? What can you possibly imagine that this could look like? And then you're tasked with bringing that to reality. So, we just recently opened the Space Odyssey over at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. And all of that was just sort of dreamed to life by designers and exhibit planners and by obviously the museum staff, who are also fantastic. But yeah, just getting to create new ways of building, new ways of putting things together and turning a vision into reality. It's just very unique work.
I can imagine. It's great. Well, thanks so much, Ted, for joining us on CBS in Denver. It's been really interesting to talk about this.
My pleasure, Mackenzie.
Of course. And we have a lot more information on the Pinnacol African Penguin Point at cbsdenver.com.